Hey folks, had a chimney fire yesterday, and I thought might be a good idea to tell people what to do in case of a chimney fire. I think I've seen a lot of people do some crazy stuff. The first rule is, if you got a chimney fire, don't panic. It's a time for cool heads, not like getting crazy. So what we have here is a more modern chimney, modern being like still 50 years old, which is a brick masonry chimney with ceramic tile. And there's actually probably another tile in this as well. So there's a lot of mass here around this one ceramic. This is what's known as a line chimney. I've had all three types of chimney. I've had metal, a line chimney, and an unlined chimney. Unlined chimneys are the most dangerous. You can have erosion. An unlined chimney is from the old days of just Victorian, where you just have bricks stacked to build the chimney. The problem is that the chinking, or mortar as you want to call it, between the bricks can erode away, and if it does, you can have a hole. If you have a hole and you have a chimney fire, you can actually have like a blowtorch of flame getting out, but also it'll feed the fire, so you wind up with this really uncontrolled heat. So one way we know that we've had a chimney fire, if you're not present when it occurs, is you see this coating of ash that's all over my spark arrestor. So that's the creosote burning and just coating everything. Now, you should check your chimney every year. You should clean it. The thing with these tiles is the creosote just coats it like tar. And I have tried and tried to get that creosote off in tar form and have been completely unsuccessful. I still wind up with a chimney fire on occasion. So you want to clean that after you've had a chimney fire, but let's get back to what to do during a chimney fire. So most people, they hear the roar of a fire is the first telltale that they've got something going on that's not quite right. If you go outside, which is what I did, is you'll note a brown smoke with a very distinctive smell. Once you've smelled it once, you'll remember it. That is another telltale sign of a chimney fire, is this creosote will release this thick brown smoke instead of, typically your smoke from a fireplace is gray or white, and but this is kind of a thick brown smoke. First thing you want to do is if you got a fireplace, reduce the damper as much as you can. If you got a wood stove, that's even better, because you can really control how much air that chimney fire is getting. So what I do during a chimney fire, I reduce my, obviously you've got a fire in there, so you can't just cut off all the air, otherwise, your house is going to fill up with smoke. So I cut my damper all the way down to the minimum setting that's still open, not closed, just one notch above, and I cut off all of my air intakes. So what you want to do once you've got a fire, you realize you have a chimney fire, you don't want to try to put it out. The best thing you can do is just to do a controlled burn and let it go up through the stack and burn that creosote off, so it doesn't catch on fire at a later date while you're there and can control it. What you really don't want is to have an uncontrolled burn where you're not present and you have a chimney fire and it just goes full on, because these ceramic tiles, they can handle the heat as long as it's not like radically different changes in temperature. The worst thing you can possibly do is take a water hose and put out you will ruin your chimney. If you take a water hose and put out that fire, it will crack every tile in this chimney and you're gonna have to put a metal liner in it. Which brings me to metal chimneys are fantastic in that they heat and expand, and they tend, if they're the stainless steel variety, the creosote will stick to them, but as it cools off, when you start a new fire, the expansion of the metal will cause that creosote to flake off. And you can clean those with a nylon brush. You should never use on a stainless steel stack. You should not use a metal, because you're actually going to cause the creosote to be able to stick more at a later date. One other thing you should always do is you should inspect in your attic your chimney stack. If you see holes or anything, or any sign of smoke, any possible way where this thing might actually be leaking, you should not use your chimney. And of course, after you've had a chimney fire, you want to get the chimney cleaned, and you want to inspect the tile to make sure that you've not cracked tile and you do not have a broken or missing piece of tile, because you definitely do not want to use a fireplace that's missing any tiles or parts of any tile. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to clean this stack next, and we'll get her back up and running later today. Oh, and before I forget, the other thing, if you've got a fireplace and not a wood stove, another way that you can regulate the fire, you have to do it from up here, but you can take screen and put fine screen over the top of this tile to help reduce the airflow. You can actually damp it from the top instead of from the bottom. But I saw my grandfather and my dad do that once, because there was a chimney fire while we were here when I was a little kid, and we were all, of course, terrified. My grandfather was pretty cool about it, and it is a scary thing hearing that fireplace roar. But just know that, you know, this thing can get freaking red hot. It actually, I've seen these glow at night if you have a chimney fire at night. Everything's really hot, so if you're up here working and trying to control a chimney fire, make sure, you know, you've got proper equipment, gloves, and, you know, you just stay safe. There's no and be ready. Mainly just watch the fire. If you got a chimney fire, it's going to burn out. Just do a slow control burn, and you know, and then don't use the stove afterwards. Once you've had a chimney fire, I'll show you, but this ash will basically coat the inside of the stack, and it reduces the amount of air volume that the chimney can breathe, but also it's real rough, so it's going to collect a lot of creosote in the future, because it's not smooth. And you can prevent creosote buildup by first of all trying to start a fire try to get it as hot as possible, as quick as possible. On a masonry stack, the reason that these creosote so badly is it takes so long for these stacks to warm up, and so when they're cold, the smoke just barely rises and it sticks to that cold surface. Once they get warm, they draft better. I would recommend, do not build a fire with pine, because that's exactly what you're doing, is you're throwing, you know, a lot of people like to use pine as a wood starter because it's easy, but it is just coating the inside of your stack with creosote. A better choice would be a softwood like poplar. It burns clean, it burns quick and hot. I don't use any pine in my stacks at all. I only burn hardwood, white oak when I can get it, or red oak, white and red oak, occasionally some maple, but you want clean burning wood. Anyway, hope you found this video informative, and we'll show you next how to clean this thing up. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.